Coryxkenshin, my favorite YouTuber and ankle breaker himself, has created his very own manga with a team of people helping him out. He revealed it last December, and it is an ultra passion project from him. So I thought it'd be a fun art video idea to take some of my characters from my own comic Warwick and draw and redesign them in the world of Coryxkenshin'S Monsters We Make universe. Now these are going to be fully colored illustrations, so I only have time for about 2 character drawings this video. But if you want to see me add more in future videos, maybe to fill up a team roster like in the Monsters We Make comic of 5, then like the video to showcase your want for that. So I decided to use my 2 characters, Killer and Helga, to be the first 2 members I'll call Lima Team. Now in order for me to draw these wicked awesome drawings, we have to first understand where in this world we're gonna put these characters. So we need to figure out what Monsters We Make is all about. Now to give a synopsis without spoiling anything too grand, Monsters We Make takes place in a futuristic sci-fi city of New Eden, where long time ago the world got into a great deal of trouble and only the city of New Eden stayed thriving. That sounds very strange if you ask me. Main character Jabari has been accepted into the New Eden Academy because of his natural aptitude for musical abilities, and soon after entering finds out that this academy is a front to take all the naturally gifted kids in the city and surrounding areas to team up and fight a threat known as leakers. They spawn by a person having a terribly awful demented outlook on life, so they become these weird monsters.
What the f is that?
So kind of a combination of cursed spirits and JJK and spontaneous human combustion and fire force. Interesting concept. Anyway, these kids are suited up in special suits designed by Sonata Corp, the founders of New Eden Academy, that improves their strength, durability, and other things in order to make them strong enough to fight these leakers. And main character Jabari finds himself on Team Alpha with the best of the best. So that's where we'll start. We're gonna make my Warwick characters be in a team of their own, titled Lima. First up is my character Killer. Let's get to drawing! Okay, so this is how Killer normally looks like in my comic. It's a Norse-themed world that the main story takes place in, and Killer is a strong Maastricht, meaning super-powered person that can use the Bifrost to shoot out red crystallized beams from his body. So we'll take that information and redesign him for the Monsters We Make universe. Now in order to put him in a team alongside the rest of the fighters in Cory's comic, we have to fit him with a suit like the rest of the characters. Extra detail about these suits is that they bring out certain abilities depending on your attunement to it, like how main character Jabari is attuned to sound because of his love for music. So he uses the sound around him and reconfigures it into weaponized sound waves through his gauntlets. So for a backstory, instead of being born with his abilities as a Maastricht like in my comic, Killer here in the Monsters We Make verse always had a special attunement to light and was always drawn to things that radiated it, like the sun and imitation light from digital screens. He was scouted by New Eden Academy's principal because of his promising abilities. His attunement was so great that he leads his own team named Lima. Also, the team names are very strange in Monsters We Make because you'd think that the following teams would be named Team Alpha, Team Beta, Team Charlie, that kind of thing. But in the new volume that Coryxkenshin teased in his newest video, he called the new team that they're going up against, I guess in some kind of typical shonen manga, like what is it, like exams or something? And they're gonna be fighting each other, I guess, to see who's better. But he called that team Vector 1? What? Wouldn't the following teams be named different? I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. So his suit brings out his attunement by being capable of shooting out lasers and dealing massive damage. Now in Warwick, he can manipulate the trajectory of his beams, so I wanted to add that in here too. Now before Killer's design was inspired by Norse mythology, he was actually meant to be designed more like a superhero, because Killer was actually a character from a previous comic idea that I had where superheroes were a part of it. So for this redesign, I decided to lean into that past and give him his superhero cape and mask. What do you think? Looks pretty cool, huh? Now this first drawing was tough because I had to do my research on how the suits looked like and how to draw them, and also come up with a way to redesign my characters to fit the art style. But there is the redesign for my OC Killer as Team Lima's leader in Monsters We Make. Now moving on to the second character in Team Lima's roster, Helga. Oh, so fun. Helga has one of my favorite designs in Warwick, which is funny because I haven't really finalized it yet, but that's okay. You see, in my comic, she's a light elf featherhund. Wait, what? Oh, dude, Xander. What's the problem? What are you doing here? You said she's a featherhund. What's that? Oh, right. I guess since my comic isn't out yet, no one knows what that means. Well, I'll skip the lore and just say that it's people born looking different than everyone else, and the elves in my story are in that category. So back to Helga. She's a featherhund super-powered Maastricht in my comic with ice powers. She's got quite the uncaring attitude while still maintaining a sense of personality in her expressions. Now, in order to transform her into a character that would be in Monsters We Make, I had to consider those elements. I stick to the blue color scheme in her design that is quite the contrast to Killer from before, indicating indicating their clashing personalities, which of course would bring the team dynamics into a more interesting layout. Now, coming up with a backstory for her is going to be quite strange, as no one in Cory's manga has strange birth alterations that would cause somebody to look like an elf, you know? That's very strange. So I had to figure out why she looked like this. Now, not much has come out from Cory's manga yet, since it is, it only has one volume out, and the backstory isn't fully fleshed out yet. So I had to work with very little, and this is what I came up with. You see, in the manga, the leakers can tend to have an ability to transform into monsters, but in some parts of the story, it alludes to the possibility that they can also change back to their human form and hide among the rest of the populace. So I thought it'd not only be an interesting world building opportunity, but also a means for a cool storytelling potential if I made her be the daughter of a leaker.
Hey,
Whoa,
yo, what the-
so wild, I know. So her backstory for being in Team Lima is a bit hazy and hidden, but I'll say that she is a product of a leaker reverting back to human form and producing a child that acquired some of the leaker's powerful capabilities and looks. So that is why she looks the way she does. Maybe she hates how growing up different affected her life, or how she wants to fight against the leakers to find a cure for this problem and cure her of her altered look. Who knows? And because of her isolation from other people growing up in order to hide her appearance, we can surmise that her attunement is towards ice, to show her cold and distant feelings towards having connections with other people. Well, anyway, being the offspring of a leaker is a wild concept, and it's a story idea I'm sure Coryxkenshin will dive into in the future, because I guess that's what I would do as a writer anyway. This right here is the final design I have for Helga in Monsters We Make, the icy daughter of the monstrosity. And I must say that I love this drawing. It showcases everything you need for expression and personality, for attunement, and a cool pose. And that right there is the first two members of Lima Team. They are quite the powerhouse in combat and have such fun backstories. I hope you enjoyed delving into the creation of these designs as much as I did, and if you want to see a part 2 where I fill in the rest of the team's roster, please leave a like. And if you want to see more wacky stuff on this art channel of mine, please don't be a stranger and subscribe.